welcome to my live video. If you don't know me, my name is Lauren Vanosta. I'm a clinical nutritionist and a personal chef. And I'm really excited to be doing this live video for you today because it's all about lunch and easy lunch recipes that you can make very quickly, because I've noticed a lot with not only my clients but my friends and even sometimes myself that lunches are a place that people falter when it comes to making good choices. Because oftentimes they're at work or you're on the go, you're busy, you don't necessarily think ahead about lunch because you're like, oh, I can just go out, grab something, and often it's not always the healthiest choice. So I wanted to share with you a couple recipes for lunches that are super quick and easy to make, as well as healthy. So these are really fun too because they're kind of like snack plates. So if any of you guys go to Starbucks, they have those like little bistro boxes or protein plates that are kind of just a bunch of snack items. That's a little bit what this is like, and I love it because when you're really busy and you have to either work all day or you are on the go, this is a lunch that you can have and snack on when you're busy. And I don't always recommend people eating while they're doing a bunch of other things, but sometimes, life gets busy, your day gets hectic, you don't always have 30 to 40 minutes to sit down and eat a full lunch. So sometimes you have to be working at your computer and, snacking on your lunch throughout maybe an hour or an hour and a half. So these are recipes that are going to be perfect for that. So if you're busy, watch this whole video and get these recipes because you are going to love it. So let's get started. And if you're joining me, say hi. I can see I have maybe a couple people on right now, but my phone's a little far away and it's hard to see because it's so small. So I'm starting with these little plastic containers. You can use glass containers. I have ones, kind of like this. You can really use whatever you like, whatever you prefer. Sometimes it's easier to have disposable containers just because if you are on the go having this, you can just toss it. But I always recommend, if you're storing food for long periods of time or reheating it, to definitely use glass, because plastic does have some harmful chemicals in it. But for this type of a recipe, you're not going to be reheating or, doing too much cooking. So these are fine. And they have, a nice clear lid so you can see what you have in your fridge. All right, so I'm gonna put 2 out because we're gonna do 2 servings. We're gonna start with a more of a protein type style lunch plate. So I have some grapes right here, just red seedless grapes, and make sure you wash them before you put them in. So I'm just gonna, cut some off of the vine here, and you just wanna, I hope you guys can see this, you just wanna like put them on 1/4 of the container. And you can fill it however much you like with whatever you like. So these are just a couple ideas for you, to balance, to have protein and sugars and carbs and things like that to make sure you're having a balanced lunch. So there's the grapes on that one. You kind of gotta just like throw it in there, and then you can arrange it and organize it once you get everything else in. This is a really easy thing too for kids' lunches. This type of a meal, rather than always getting them a sandwich or having a salad every single day. Not that salads are bad, I love salads, but sometimes you just want something else. So this is also great for kids. So you're just going to put the grapes in there. And next we are going to do some hard-boiled eggs. So I mentioned, if you're on my email list, I mentioned that there's no cooking in this recipe. And there isn't if you already have hard-boiled eggs prepared. And you can make them a dozen at a time, since you buy them by the dozen, and keep them in the fridge for the week. And so if you have these already ready to go, this recipe is super, super fast. But if you don't already have hard-boiled eggs ready, there are a couple different ways to make them. I like making them in the oven because they are a lot easier and you don't have to, watch them as closely as you would putting them on the stove. So if you haven't heard my recipe for that yet, you just set your oven to 325 and you put the eggs in a muffin tin so they don't roll around in the oven. And then all you need to do is cook them in the oven for 30 minutes. and then just pop them into some ice water after that, and then store them in the fridge. And you can peel them if you like, but if you keep them in the shell, they last longer. So if you peel them, they're good for about 3 to 4 days, but if they're in the shell, they last for about a week. So these are already peeled and ready to go. So for the hard-boiled eggs, if you want to cut them in half, you can. Sometimes they're easier to eat like that. I like to cut them in half, and it's pretty because you can see the yolk in there. So I'll do 2 eggs per plate. Just put the halves in. I'll show this to you in a second. I know it's hard for you guys to see. If only my phone, could fly up and do a top overview. I guess I should get an assistant for these. That'd probably help. So there's the grapes and the hard-boiled eggs in there so far. And hard-boiled eggs are great for protein. They have, some healthy fats in them, so they're really good to have in a dish like this. And next we're going to be doing goat cheddar. And I mentioned before that dairy is definitely not a health food, but goat cheese is a lot easier for your body to digest than cow's cheese is. So goat cheddar is just another good source of protein in this, and it goes well with the grapes and the hard-boiled eggs. So you're just gonna cut them into little cubes, kind of about this size, and you can do as much or as little as you like. I recommend about, probably a quarter cup of little cheese cubes. And then you can just put them in there. And that's per plate. You don't want to overdo it on the cheese. And then so we're going to do that for the second one as well. And like I said, you can really do whatever you like in these. That's what's so fun about it, is that you can really cater it to your taste buds and what you like to eat. So if you don't like this, you don't have to put it in, and you can substitute it with something else. And also, if you want like a vegan option, something without any dairy or eggs or anything like that, chickpeas are a really good source of protein. And if you roast them up, they get nice and crunchy, and they're really good like that. So far we have our grapes, our hard-boiled eggs, and our goat cheddar. Lastly, we're gonna do some almonds. And I buy these at Trader Joe's. They're just roasted, salted, and they have some rosemary on them. They're really, really good. So all I'm gonna do is just open them up and just dump some in. So that's what I mean when I say this is really easy. If you can find products at the store that are healthy to build these, look how simple that was. I already have one of them done, and there's 2 lunches ready to go. You can also have this as kind of a snack plate to have throughout the day. Like in the morning you could have the grapes and the eggs, and in the afternoon can be the cheese and the nuts. Whatever you like, you can really, have this any way that you prefer throughout the day. But I think it's great for lunch, like I said, as a snack plate, and so you can snack on it while you're having lunch and, not have to worry about sitting down and eating a full meal for lunch. So this is our first one. I like to call it a protein plate. So if you can see it, we got grapes, hard-boiled eggs, goat cheddar, and almonds. So that's our first one. Our next one is going to be kind of like a Mediterranean Greek type of plate. Let me just wipe off my cutting board. And this one's really good because it has hummus in it and lots of good stuff, so you'll see in a second. So let's just grab 2 more containers. And I have some store-bought hummus from Whole Foods. It's lemon hummus. And when you're getting hummus in the store, you just want to make sure you look at the ingredients, that there's not any bad oils in it. Olive oil is the best, and so typically hummuses should only have garbanzo beans, olive oil, tahini, garlic, salt and pepper, and different spices, depending on the flavor. But you don't want to have, added sugar or bad oils in them, so just make sure you look at the ingredients when you're buying a store-bought hummus. Or you can also make it yourself, super easy, like I just said, ingredients. Garbanzo beans, olive oil, tahini, garlic, spices. It really is super simple. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to grab a spoon real quick. So you just want to make sure you mix it up. And for the hummus, I got these they're dressing containers, like salad dressing containers, little plastic ones. And you definitely don't need these, but they just help keep the container a little more clean. So if if you've tilted it or anything, the hummus isn't going to go everywhere. So these little dressing containers are awesome. You can buy them at Target in a pretty decent sized package for like $2. So they're definitely worth it, and you can reuse them if you want to. So I love having them. So just take a spoonful of hummus and fill the container. I mean, not all the way, just about like three-fourths of the way. Here's the first one. And there's lids for those containers too that you can put on them. So there's the hummus. I'll just pop the lid on it. And then we're just gonna put it right into the container. Can't get the lid on. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now all we have in there so far is our hummus. And next we're gonna add in some Greek olives. And I actually got these at the olive bar at the grocery store. You know, so you can get however much you need. You don't have to buy a bunch of different jars of different kinds. They have a Greek mix in the olive bar, so it goes perfect in this recipe. So all I'm gonna do is just, you know, take maybe 5 to 8, I guess, olives in there. You don't wanna have too many because they are pretty salty and they are a little bit high in fat, but that's okay. They're good fat, so you don't have to worry too much about it. And if you don't like the green olives or the Kalamata olives, you can always just do black olives, whatever you prefer. These just go with the theme of this lunch plate. So it's really tasty. I love it, especially with the hummus. It's just so good. And next we have some sliced cucumber. I already sliced this up, but super quick to slice up. So as you can see, this is a really quick recipe as well. So just slice it up and you can just layer it in there however much you want or however little you want. These are really good to dip in the hummus. So good. Cucumber is really good because it has a high water content. So not only does the fiber in it keep you full, but the water content helps hydrate you. So when you're eating a lot of fiber, you want to have a lot of water. You never want to be dehydrated when you have a high fiber diet because you're gonna, you know, get really uncomfortable bloating, and so you want to make sure you're staying hydrated. So cucumbers are awesome in that way, that they're naturally balanced between fiber and water content. And the skin on cucumbers, make sure you leave that on because it's really good for your skin. And then we also next have some grape tomatoes. And these are also really good for the hummus. And I don't know about you, but I love tomatoes. They're so good. So we're just gonna throw those right in there. Just make sure you wash everything. And like I said with the last recipe, if you don't like something, you don't have to put it in. So if you don't like tomatoes, substitute it with something else. Really is up to you. You could do like bell pepper strips, like red or orange bell peppers. Those would be really good in here. So cater it to your taste buds. That's totally fine. So just put however many you want. These are, like I said, super, super customizable to you. You can do however much or however little you want. We're also going to do hard-boiled eggs in this one as well for protein. But like I mentioned, this could be vegan if you wanted, and you could do roasted chickpeas instead of the hard-boiled eggs. So those could be a good source of protein instead of the eggs if you wanted to have a vegan lunch plate. I think, yeah, the recipe for those chickpeas are on my website. They're called salt and pepper chickpea crunchies. So if you search that on my website, you'll be able to get that recipe if you wanted to use that in this. So I'm going to also do 2 eggs per plate in this. And we are almost done. So that's 4 lunches. And I don't know how long I've been talking, but if you weren't talking during making this, you would have been done already. So how simple and how easy was that? So here's this one, now that it's done. Very colorful, very pretty, and like I said, it's one of those lunches that you don't have to sit down and take, 40 minutes to eat. It's something you can snack on if you're having a really busy day, or even if you're in the car. I mean, I don't recommend eating while you're driving, but it's better than going through a fast food drive-thru and getting like a burrito or a cheeseburger or something. At least you're having something healthy and good for you. So those are 2 recipes that you can play with. You could also do things like, if you wanted to get some hormone and antibiotic-free lunch meat, you could do little roll-ups of that. There's a lot of different options you can do with these. I just love this idea of having a a snack plate lunch, because I, for one, enjoy snacking a lot, and you don't always want this meal on a plate, right? Sometimes you just want things you can snack on. So these are really good for that. So I'll just take you through them one more time. The first one has grapes, hard-boiled eggs, goat cheddar, and almonds. And the second one has hummus, Greek olives, cucumber, tomato, and hard-boiled eggs. So I hope that was helpful for you. And I also, things like this, oftentimes people don't think of. They think they have to have a salad for lunch or a sandwich. Think outside the box when it comes to your lunches, because there are a ton of things you can do, and there's so many different ingredients you can use. There's tons of veggies, everything like that. And it's hard for people sometimes because there's so much out there, on Pinterest, all these different things. You're just constantly searching recipes, and you're like, I have no idea what to make, even though there's hundreds of recipes right in front of my face. And it can be hard because sometimes you don't have a meal that's balanced. And that's something I really tell my clients about, is making sure that the meals you're eating are balanced nutritionally, and you're getting enough protein and, everything like that. So it's important to make sure your meals are balanced. And oftentimes, if you're just finding recipes online, it's not always the case. So I encourage you to kind of take a look at that. And if you really have trouble and you want some help with it, I do offer meal planning, customized meal plans for you. And I also recently just announced a group program I'm doing starting in March. And things like this are what I'm really going to be helping you with. I'm going to show you how to eat properly, educate you on what the good foods are for you to eat, and give you really simple and doable ideas like this, because everyone is busy and, it is time consuming. So if I can take all the hard work out of it for you, then you can just, enjoy everything. So that's really what I like to do for my clients, and I'm really excited about this group program. And if you haven't heard about it or read about it yet, I will post the link for that as soon as I hop off this video, but you can search group program on my website at totalbodynourishment.com if you want to check it out right now, but I will post the link for you. And just a little bit more about that program. Like I said, it starts in March. It's about 5 weeks long, and you're going to be getting not only nutrition classes, but you're also going to have group exercise classes. And I don't want that to intimidate anyone, because the personal trainer that I've hired to do the classes is really going to make the workouts doable for everybody, no matter what your fitness level is. So she's really going to be able to, modify the workouts for each person, and that's really exciting for me because I haven't done something like this before with a program. And the weekly nutrition classes, like I just said, you're going to be getting education. You are going to be getting meal plans throughout the entire program. So you're going to have about 21 days of meal plans with recipes and everything. So you're not even going to have to think in that program. I mean, you will a little bit, but not to the point where you're struggling. And you're going to learn things in there that's going to, stick with you beyond the duration of that program. So I'm really excited about it. And I really hope you enjoyed this idea and these recipes. If you just hopped on the video, make sure you watch the replay and go back and watch it. Does anyone have any questions if you're watching? I can't really see, but I don't think there's any so far. But if you do, ask me now about anything if you want. And like I said, make these customizable for you, whatever your taste preference is. And if you want help with things like this, making your meals easier, let me know. I'd be happy to chat with you, and we can talk about what you're struggling with and how I can possibly help you. So if there are no more questions, I'm going to hop off. But like I said, please watch the replay of this so you can catch these recipes, because they're really fun and simple, and like I said, you can make them really quick, under 10 minutes. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday and enjoy the rest of your week.